Hey guys, we have a day today which is again under some very, very heavy Mercury energy, and Mercury is still currently in a square to Saturn. So again today, our energy is bringing up these Saturn-Mercury vibes that we have been dealing with for quite a while now. We have both the sun and the moon today, you guys, in Gemini and Virgo, signs ruled by Mercury. Mercury is now direct. However, Mercury is still in a square to Saturn and has not moved degrees yet, still at the degree where he's stationed to go direct. So we have more of the Saturn-Mercury energy that we need to talk about today. We also have the sun in Gemini in an exact aspect to Chiron today, though, which is an interesting energy that we're going to get into as well. And we have that Virgo moon making a trine to Venus as well. A really great relationship day, actually. But generally, this day I feel like is about sort of spilling the tea and getting some information, figuring some things out in one way or another. So let's get into the chart, you guys, and see how all of this is coming together for us today. Welcome back to my channel, everyone. Today is Monday, June 6th. 2022. My name is Aubrey, and this is your astrological and energetic update outlook of the day. If you guys stick with me till the end of the video, I'm also going to talk about some tarot cards that came out in correlation, correspondence, conjunction to the astrology today, so we will get into that as well. But let's start with the astrology, you guys, as we always do. Like I said in my intro, this is sort of a very information-based day. We may be sort of spilling the tea today, or, wanting to get some information, gain some information, gain a greater understanding of things in one type of a way, very geared towards the informational, the messaging, the discussion, conversation, dialogue component of things. Mercury is direct now. Things are sort of starting to become more coherent, more streamlined, move forward a little bit, although with this square that is still going on between Mercury and Saturn in the sky, a lot of this direct motion Mercury energy that we should be experiencing right now is still being repressed and held back and limited and restricted. And we may be experiencing some real frustrations along the lines of Mercury-Saturn, which if you guys have been following my work, you know that we've been talking about for a couple of weeks now. As I said, we have a Gemini sun going on right now. Gemini is, of course, ruled by the planet Mercury. We also have a Virgo moon going on today and tomorrow, start this week. Virgo is also the other sign ruled by the planet Mercury. So we have both luminaries today, you guys, and also tomorrow in signs ruled by Mercury. And as we all know, Mercury is now direct. However, in that square to Saturn, Mercury is still at 27 degrees of Taurus today. Still has not officially left the degree where he's stationed to go direct. And so anyway we slice it today, yes, there is definitely a big theme on, talking, communicating, interacting, gaining information, dialogues, discussions, gossip, things going back and forth, people making expressions or trying to make expressions or communicate or just to teach, learn, likely to be a very communication oriented day. What we're talking about, what we're learning, what we're attempting to teach or express in this energy, the information that we're gaining, the perspective that we're seeing things through, the messaging that is coming through and coming out of us, our general mental perception of reality right now, and our ability or desire to express and explain that. All of these Mercury direct themes that are relevant in the chart today, because we have both the sun and the moon, both luminaries in the signs ruled by Mercury, who has recently stationed direct in the sign of Taurus. This also may be definitely bringing a theme and an emphasis in regards to the messaging and information communication coming through on the topics, the subject areas of value, resources, money, projects, partnerships, food as well. That type of stuff may be sort of the highlighted themes in terms of these conversations or these debates or whatever we're talking about, whatever we're learning, whatever we're finding out. But with the square still going on to Saturn, we still may feel a bit restricted or limited or held back in our plans at this point in time and our ability to move forward with something, in our ideas, in our ability or desire or willingness to express ourselves in one type of a way and or another. And we also, remember, we do have this moon in Virgo with with Mercury and Saturn in a square. Now, Mercury and Saturn in a square in and of themselves, I've been, explaining while we've had this aspect going on that it can bring a bit of a more pessimistic outlook in terms of just like the general state of our reality. Because Saturn, first of all, this is a heavier planet. It can be more critical and more judgmental, and it has a tendency to like really narrow our viewpoint. And Mercury, this is our ideas, and this is our perspective, and this is our mind and our thoughts. And so when in this square, this is a 90-degree angle. This is a harsh aspect. It can bring up like internalized frustration and conflict and stuff like that. And when we have these two specific planets making a square to each other, while there's this emphasis, we are in a Gemini cycle, remember too, Gemini new moon cycle, which is also ruled by Mercury. So this is, and this aspect was in place for that new moon. So this is something that, we have been dealing with for quite a while, and it is still very much playing out today. But with the moon coming into Virgo today as well, Virgo can also be a sign that can be a little bit more critical or a little bit more nitpicky or a little bit more judgmental. And so, we're dealing with this aspect to the ruler of the placement of both luminaries, the sun and the moon in their signs, ruled by Mercury today. Mercury in the square to Saturn still, and that Virgo moon, it could definitely, we could feel a little bit judged in terms of what we're saying or what we're thinking or how we're expressing ourselves or how we're communicating. We could get some harsh criticism or like some just more negative feedback in terms of the work that we're doing right now, or what we're contributing, or what we're putting our effort into, or what we are saying, or what we are expressing or teaching, or something like that. With Saturn also ruling bosses and authority figures, the people in charge, like upper management, and also rules and regulations and boundaries and limitations and stuff like that. So with the moon in Virgo today, the sun in Gemini, Mercury direct, however, in a very tight square to Saturn in Aquarius, there could just be some like harsh truths or harsh criticism that we are experiencing right now that we feel like is limiting us in one way or another, either from making progress towards our goals, moving forward in some type of way, or speaking our mind or expressing ourselves. This energy can also bring up some elevated levels of nervous tension and anxiety as well. We're talking about Mercury in the square to Saturn, Mercury in both the emphasis on the sun and the moon and Mercury signs today. Virgo also, and Gemini also, these can be more high-strung, anxious energies. And we're talking about, with the square to Saturn and Mercury, this also, the tendency to have like a bit of a more negative viewpoint and stuff can increase this anxiety or this nervous tension. We're talking about the square, which is an internalized sense of frustration that can be building as well. And I mean, it's Mercury, that's our mind, and Saturn, this is authority. It's like some type of self-limiting belief or self-limiting mental program or mental loop is something that we could be struggling with right now that is bringing up some type of internal frustration, prohibiting us from moving forward. Or it could be something externalized. It could be, some type of actual rule or actual boss or actual authority figure or actual situation or consequence. Saturn also ruling karma that is preventing us from being able to speak our truth or express ourselves the way that we really want to or that we really need to in this energy. And again, with Mercury in the sign of Taurus, this is likely to have to do with either our perception of our value of our own self, or in terms of the resources, the financial situations, the projects, the partnerships, the stability essentially that we are experiencing externally, and things just interfering with that or frustrating it or holding it back or creating some type of tension for the purpose of some type of breakthrough. I mean, that's what squares do. That is their ultimate purpose, is to create tension that pushes for some type of breakthrough, some type of resolution into something that is actually like a higher evolution or a higher state than where it started. And Mercury in the square to Saturn, ultimately, you guys, this is actually trying to help us mature and master our own thought processes, which is a very important dynamic as we are transitioning ages right now, moving into the age of Aquarius, which is an age of self-knowledge, self-mastery, self-empowerment, and ultimately co-creation with God and universe. In order for us to really collectively make this vibrational shift happen, we do need to gain a greater mastery over our own mind. And I do feel like that is what this aspect has been trying to help teach us and giving us, giving us a lesson in like necessary patience and self-discipline and self-control and mental control over our speech, control over our thoughts, the ability to, withdraw and limit our expression when we need to out of, wisdom. Saturn also rules like wisdom gained through experience. He's the teacher and brings our karmic lessons. And so all of these things, you guys, could be facets of what we're experiencing right now, but I do feel like that's one reason this aspect has sort of been like a holdout for so long, is because this is really sort of an important facet of our collective energetic shift and transition into the age of Aquarius, because that mental control, that control of our thoughts, control of our own mind, not surrendering that to some other external force, but really regaining the control over our own thought processes and the mastery that gives us to play a very, collaborative role in creating our own reality as we're moving forward into this new paradigm. So I feel like that is one reason why we have been dealing with this aspect for so long at this point in time right now. But again, could be bringing up these issues, bosses, authority figures, rules, regulations. Also, with this aspect, how it is right now, this also indicates issues with food, supply chains, resources. And I'm not really surprised that, this is something that we have been seeing collectively over the past few weeks, because Saturn, you guys, is the Lord of agriculture, actually. And Mercury, this is the messenger planet and rules movements and transactions and things going back and forth. And then today, specifically, we're talking about the moon in the sign of Virgo ruling the harvest. But if you think about it, Saturn being the Lord of agriculture and Mercury ruling things going back and forth, coming into a square to each other, also while Mercury has been retrograde, like this can definitely create disruptions and conflict and tension and things just not, moving forward in like a fluid way in terms of food distribution. And that is, something that is indicated by these aspects as well. So I wanted to demonstrate that to you guys as well. But also I feel like this energy is calling for us to sort of like face the facts, face some hard facts. We may be receiving some more difficult news or information in this energy as well, especially this week with the emphasis, today and tomorrow and moving into Wednesday as well on both signs, both luminaries in signs ruled by Mercury. And, this is also, though, like the positive aspect of this energy is it does create and promote a greater ability to really like concentrate and to focus on things and to put some like hard mental energy, like some concentrated mental energy into like work or tasks or the things that we need to get done generally. Detail-oriented work as well. Getting organized is a very positive use of this energy that we have right now. And it is also very good for any type of writing or communicating or studying. But, we do also have Saturn retrograde right now. And Saturn is our self-control and our self-discipline. And sometimes when we have Saturn retrograde, we can feel a little like discombobulated or disoriented or like unmotivated or unable to keep ourselves in that state of like self-discipline and self-control and, our work ethic may be a little like loosened up in this energy. So that may be something that we're also dealing with, but it is with this big emphasis, on the Mercury signs today. Writing, communicating, speech, reading, what we're learning, what we're talking about, the information that we're gaining, the insight that we're gaining, what we're finding out right now, like the pieces coming together. This is quite supported in this energy, even though we do have the square going on to Saturn, which is limiting things and is holding them back. But it also, Saturn retrograde is the deal with Saturn at this moment. And Saturn retrograde really wants us to sort of like reevaluate what we've built, what we've worked on, the progress of our goals right now. It's sort of like a status check. And also this is really bringing us to a point of needing to make some very karmic decisions that are going to have some type of long-term impact in terms of the trajectory of our future. In, the sign square to Mercury as well, ruling choices and decisions. So, important information in relation to to the trajectory of things going forward is something that is likely to be a pretty profound element of the energy that's unfolding and the experiences that are unfolding corresponding with it right now as well. So, and again, like these issues surrounding value, resources, in terms of the news that is coming out right now and the information. This could also have to do with something actually new or something about ourselves too, with this Mars Jupiter energy that we also have it going on in Aries right now, which is the sextile sign to where the sun in Gemini is. So Taurus themes as a result of Mercury's placement, value, resources like our own value, our partnerships, our projects, how we create resources for ourselves in our lives, like that type of stuff generally, and also, you know, things that could be pertaining to our personal self and our desire to sort of like move forward in an authentic direction as well. Stuff that we could be wanting to express, talk about, that could also be, you know, bringing some type of frustration or conflict as well. So that's really what I want to say in terms of, yet again, this Saturn square Mercury energy that we are talking about and we've been talking about. And remember, Mercury is at the degree 27 Taurus, and that Sabian symbol is an old Indian woman selling beads and trinkets. So again, this is putting that emphasis back on our resources and our value and what we can create and what we can contribute in order to receive something that can provide for ourselves or create some type of stability for ourselves in our lives. So we have that. Now, in my intro, I also said that we have an interesting Chiron aspect going on today. We have the sun in Gemini coming to an exact sextile to Chiron in Aries. The sun is at 16 degrees of Gemini today. Chiron's at 16 degrees of Aries. And so they are forming an exact sextile, which is a skip a sign aspect, which is a positive and assisting, facilitating aspect to some extent. And so this actually could be bringing some significant connections or opportunities for growth or healing that are sort of like spontaneously happening in one way or another today. It's another interesting thing about this specific transit is that we have Uranus as a midpoint of this energy. We have the sun at 16 Gemini, we have Chiron at 16 Aries, and then actually at 17 degrees of Taurus, so it's just 1 degree off. 17 Taurus, the sign in between Gemini and Aries, we have Uranus, which is our great rectifier, our great awakener, our great liberator, the planet that brings blessings in disguise and puts things right. And so when we're talking about the sun in a positive, helpful aspect to Chiron, the wounded healer, teacher, master archetype, this could definitely be, like I said, significant connections or opportunities for growth or healing, because that's what the Chiron archetype does. It you know, brings us through a process of wounding so that we can really discover the root origins of that wounding, learn about it, you know, heal from it, learn to heal ourselves from it, and then go on to master and overcome that experience so that we never have to deal with it again. And through that process also become sort of like a guiding light to others who are following a same path or a similar trajectory. And, you know, it just brings us, it allows us to transmute our lower states of victimhood into our more higher and evolved states of self-mastery and self-understanding and ability to heal ourselves and to co-create our experience really with God and universe going forward. And the Chiron archetype is a very essential vibration in terms of our energetic shift right now into the age of Aquarius. And, you know, we know that extra because our new moon in Aries this year was only 1 degree off from where Chiron is located in the sky. So this whole year is sort of like a collective hero's journey for us, where that is what we're doing. You know, we're going through these experiences that could be really triggering some wounds within us, but it's for the purpose of helping us to learn about this original wounding so that we can essentially solve the problem and get ourselves out of any type of karmic loops or self-sabotaging patterns that are prohibiting our growth and our acceleration into our highest potential, which is another, you know, facet of this age of Aquarius energy. So with the sun coming into the sextile with Chiron today, with Uranus being in the middle, and Uranus also right now is at an interesting degree in the sky at 17 degrees of Taurus. That Sabian symbol is a symbolic battle between swords and torches. And I feel like this is talking about like the spiritual battle or the inner battle, or this, you know, also this hero's journey that is about transmuting these lower states into these higher states. It's like overcoming our lower selves and our instinctual based nature and these states of victimhood and coming into our higher selves or the higher versions of ourselves, or connecting to our higher selves and God and spirit and living our lives in much more alignment with that as we are being, propelled towards these states of self-mastery and activating our destiny, activating our potential. So this is definitely being highlighted in the energy today. We are overcoming our lower selves. And again, with Uranus as a midpoint, it could be happening in a rather shocking or surprising or sudden or just out of the ordinary, out of the blue type of way, interactions or experiences, especially with all that Mercury energy that we have going on as well. There could be some very unusual or out of the ordinary interactions, conversations, encounters that we are having today that are assisting us in growing and healing in one capacity or another. It could be happening, like I said, unexpectedly or suddenly, and it's to help us awaken to the truth of something, to set things right in some way, or to liberate us to align with our authentic truth moving forward. So we may find ourselves like in one of these type of situations as we go throughout the day today. This could also manifest as using our own experience in some way over the course of the day today in maybe one of these more unusual interactions or encounters to assist someone else in their growth or in their healing somehow. This Gemini energy, this conversation, interaction, encounter energy, in combination with this Sun Chiron energy, which is, activating the wounded healer teacher archetype. So it's like we may be coming across people today or experiences or situations that are helping us to turn on our own inner healer in some type of way, and again go through some type of maybe like unexpected awakening that leads to some type of growth or healing. Or on the flip side, we may be in our Chiron energy in one way or another with this Sun Chiron sextile. We may be playing out the Chiron archetype today and being that catalyst for someone else's growth or healing through some type of unusual or unexpected or out of the ordinary encounter or interaction that is playing out somehow. So, the Chiron moves very slowly, and so we don't have a whole bunch of Sun Chiron aspects that go on. But, when we get these exact aspects, I feel like they're worth talking about for sure, because this may definitely be something that is coming up as we're going through the day today, and it might just be good to have a little bit of understanding, like, I'm wearing my Chiron shoes right now. Like, this is what is happening, and I'm playing this role based on the experience that I've gained. Or, finding ourselves in some type of a situation where we can actually consciously perceive this growth or this awakening happening and understanding the reason or the root behind it. So, remember, we also, aside from Mercury being the square to Saturn, because Mercury has not shifted degrees yet, we do still also have Mercury in a trine to Pluto. And I've been talking about that a lot too. Lots of things being unearthed right now. Lots of seeing behind the curtain energy that is really helping us to gain a deeper and more profound insight into things that is coloring all of this as well. So, and that's also transforming and regenerating and healing our mind and our cognition. So all of that, you guys, so that's Mercury, Sun, Moon energy, Mercury in square to Saturn, and then the Sun and the Chiron influence with Uranus as the midpoint. And then the last thing that I really want to talk about today is the Moon in Virgo going to be forming a trine to Venus in her home sign of Taurus. And this is actually some really beautiful energy. Like, this is energy for we may feel very compelled in this energy to sort of be like beautifying our home or beautifying our environment or beautifying ourselves or beautifying our family or beautifying our loved ones, just like making things more lovely or more presentable, or just like really fixing things up in some type of a way in regards to like our surroundings or our family or ourselves or things that we care about and love. This is also, we may be feeling like some more lovey-dovey vibes today as well with Venus in the trine to the Moon, even though we are in the midst. It's sort of like this interesting dichotomy, polarity of energy that is playing out, because, we do have this more pessimistic, narrow-minded, Mercury, harsh, critical Mercury square Saturn with the Moon in Virgo, but making the trine to Venus, it's also like we may be being more critical about the state of our surroundings right now and really feeling a desire to sort of like do something to improve them or to make them better. It's like we may be looking for the ways that we sort of feel like out of control in this energy as well, with Saturn retrograde, and using, our surroundings or our environment or ourselves or our loved ones sort of as a medium through which we can exercise a little bit more control and sort of get things looking or feeling the way that makes us feel a little better. in this energy. This is really good relationship energy, though. We should be, getting along pretty well with the people in our lives. It's just those authority figures, those bosses that may be bringing a little bit of issue. But we do want to be careful with overindulging in things, overindulging in pleasure, spending too much money as well, with Venus in the sign of Taurus, really, going on a spending spree or something like that, especially with Mercury in the square to Saturn. That really may not be something that we feel really good about when this energy has passed, even though like in the midst of this energy, it may seem like a really good idea. So maybe something to keep in mind also if you're sort of feeling compelled to overindulge in any type of spending or pleasure or luxury or anything like that today. But it is a good day, you guys, to practice some self-care, go to the spa, get your hair done, like that type of stuff, get your nails done, or just generally take care of yourself, go to the gym as well with Mercury or with Mars and Jupiter and Aries. This is a really good exercise and working out energy. All of that type of stuff. And also another thing that this brings is it can give us a tendency to feel a little bit lazy and not really wanting to put in effort and not really wanting to work, just sort of wanting to pamper ourselves and to relax and to indulge and to have pleasure and abundance and fun and all the nice stuff. And again, just really be much more about serving our own needs and desires in this energy. That's what it is. It's really we want to serve our own desires. And so with Saturn retrograde as well, like I said, this also has a tendency of breaking down our self-control and our self-discipline a little bit, perhaps our work ethic, maybe making us feel a little bit more lazy. So if you're feeling that way today, it is possibly as a result of this energy that we have playing out, this trine from the moon to Venus, and also this Saturn retrograde energy that we have going on right now as well, and Mercury in square. That can also just make us, if we feel blocked in our progress in some type of way and we don't want to resist it at this point, we may just want to sort of not deal with things like that, not deal with the difficulty as much today. It's interesting also because we have Venus today at 11 degrees of Taurus, and that Sabian symbol is a woman sprinkling long rows of flowers. So even in this symbolism, it's talking about a woman, which would be Venus, tending to her flowers, making her garden lovely, doing what she needs to do to make her garden grow and to beautify her space. And this aspect is also sort of calling for that. And with the moon in Virgo as well, this really may be a day where we are cleaning house, you guys, and just trying to regain some type of control or move forward in some type of a way, even if we're feeling blocked or restricted, through our ability to exercise that control over our own environment and maybe bring some beauty back to it, or get it reorganized, or get things cleaned up, or just get things sorted out in a way that makes us feel things are just a little bit more lovely in the midst of, again, what may have been some more pessimistic energy that we are in the midst of and that we've been experiencing lately. But generally, when we add all of this together today, you guys, I feel this is a day where people are going to be talking about things and spilling the tea, and there may be an element of gossip to stuff, and just people really wanting to figure things out, to get all the information, to, have the conversations, just generally a more information communication based day, oriented day, trying to understand and trying to explain, even though, it may not be going that well. We may be still facing a bit of resistance, but I feel again, that is sort of being channeled out into what we can control right now, which is, our ability to experience loveliness and pleasure around us in our external environment, even if we can't do things exactly the way that we want to moving forward in a certain direction at this point in time. Now, it's also interesting because we have the sun today. It's 16 degrees of Gemini. That Sabian symbol is a woman activist on a platform in an emotional speech dramatizing her cause. And so again, this is a very, very Mercury oriented degree of female activist, a woman activist on a platform, taking the forefront, Mercury, the messaging, taking the forefront in an emotional speech, dramatizing her cause, like really trying to get what she wants, perhaps facing some type of resistance, and that's why she has to dramatize it and or like making this big deal about it. I feel like this degree is also supporting what the energy, what the aspects are saying themselves. And with this degree being highlighted today and this emphasis by dual luminaries on Mercury in the square to Saturn, we may see some feminine energy specifically drop on some type of platform or on some type of stage, making some type of effort to gain support or to express their opinion or to say their idea. Like this may be something that we are experiencing in our daily lives, you know, just with the people that we are interacting with personally, especially, you know, it could be in our work environment for sure with this Taurus energy or the people that we're partnerships with and stuff like that, or just generally, you know, that we're having encounters with. We could find there to be like a stronger desire for people to be like trying to get their message out. And because of this resistance, it may be in that more emotionalized way, you know, especially with the moon ruling our emotions, ruling our feelings, also in the sign ruled by Mercury, who is in that square right now. So I feel like the degree of the sun today is actually very in alignment with the aspects that are playing out. And then the degree of the earth today as well, 16 degrees of Sag, always in a polar opposition to the sun. That Sabian symbol is seagulls fly around a ship in search of food, looking for food. So I feel like this is simultaneously talking about, you know, in the energy today, with all of this Mercury energy, we are still like searching for what we need. Like we're trying to find the proper pieces that sort of bring the whole picture together and can like give us the nourishment or the fulfillment or the perspective, the overall perspective that we need at this point in time to make some choices, to make some decisions that are, again, like we are in a point in time right now, especially with Saturn retrograde, that could be bringing up some very important or karmic decisions that, you know, could be difficult and that have a tendency to have some long-term, long-lasting implications. So yeah, like with all of this energy, we could be like searching for scraps, you know, like bits of information that we need to bring the whole picture together so that we can really see what's going on, so that we can have some assistance, so that we can, you know, be making these choices, making these decisions, making these plans, building these structures also, Saturn, in a way that is not lacking any type of insight or any type of perspective or any like piece of the overall puzzle. We're searching for the bigger view of things. And, you know, the earth being in Sagittarius also rules like the overall picture, the bigger view, the higher bird's eye perspective of stuff. So that's really what we're looking at today, you guys, in terms of the energy as we have it playing out, coming down from the stars. Just this more Mercury Saturn vibes. I am so looking forward to not having to talk about Mercury Saturn vibes anymore. Mercury needs to get moving so that we can break this square and start moving forward. Like I said, in one of the videos I did the other day, I can't remember exactly which one it was. I think it was the one about Mercury stationing direct itself, but I don't feel like, you know, we're really going to start picking up on these Mercury direct vibes until Mercury like re-enters Gemini, leaves Taurus, and like really breaks the square with Saturn. But that's what we got going on today. Mercury and Saturn yet again in some very emphasized ways by both luminaries in the signs ruled by Mercury. The Sun and Chiron coming together with Uranus as a midpoint. This could definitely be bringing some more unusual experiences or encounters that awaken us to something that promotes our own healing or growth, or where we are actually acting out the Chiron archetype for someone else to be a catalyst to their healing or growth in some type of way. And then that moon trine Venus, you know, we could be, you know, having some lovely relations with people today, and, you know, just also though maybe feeling a little more lazy, like not feeling super motivated. And we want to be careful with like the overindulging, the overspending in this energy as well. So that's what we got to talk about in terms of the astrology today. Let's talk about the tarot now for a minute, you guys. Had some actually, I only had one card. I shuffled 3 times. I only had one card come out of the deck this morning in regards to the, I asked God, Spirit, Universe, please give me some cards to clarify the collective. What is going on in this energy right now? Like, what do we need to know? What advice can you give us? And the card actually that we had coming out of the deck today was the Emperor. And this card, you guys, is ruled by Aries, I'm pretty sure. And that to me, right off the bat, is talking about this Mars-Jupiter energy that we have going on right now. Chiron is also in the sign of Aries. So I feel like this is talking about a need to, and Mars and Jupiter together in the sign of Aries, this is all about being able to fight for and pursue and act on, like, following our personal truth. This is all about, like, really being able to embody our authentic and personal truth. Jupiter ruling truth, Mars ruling the self, Aries ruling, you know, well, the self as well. But like, this is us being able to personally step into and embody this expanded sense of understanding in regards to our own personal truth. So I feel like this is saying, like, that is sort of in Chiron, you know, which is an aspect to the sun, is also in the sign of Aries right now as well, which is this, you know, wounded healer teacher energy, this internal alchemization and transmutation of these lower vibrations into these higher vibrations. And, you know, that is also something that is underway right now. And I feel like, you know, this energy is talking about us really needing to focus on, despite everything that is playing out right now and these frustrations that may be coming in, gaining this greater understanding of our own personal truth and coming to a point where we are actually, like, healed enough inside and growing to a state of self-mastery internally where we feel liberated to pursue that and to go in this new direction. And on the back of the deck, it's interesting because we actually had the Ten of Swords, which was followed by the Four of Pentacles. And so, you know, put this energy together, like, this is actually, to me, like, it may not look like it on the surface, but to me, this sequence of cards is actually talking about a fresh start in something. This is telling me, like, the things that we've been holding on to our own detriment are actually at a point of coming to an end. Like, that old version of ourselves that was clinging to the identity of the past can't go on, can't move forward, has nothing left in it. Like, it's just sort of like an end game for our past previous selves at this point in time. As a result of this need right now, the Emperor coming up, this Aries energy, this Jupiter, Mars, Chiron energy, to go through this healing process, to transcend out of these states of victimhood, to open ourselves up to this healing and ability to align with the higher dimensions of ourselves and to really start to embody and understand those things so that we can move forward in this new direction in alignment with that authentic truth, which is another very significant component of our transition into the age of Aquarius. So I feel like, honestly, this reading right here, I feel like, is referring to sort of the end of an era. Like, that's what this is symbolizing to me. And, you know, it also makes sense in the context of Saturn retrograde right now, and also in square to the ruler of this lunar cycle, the ruler of the both luminaries today. And we are going through this collective rebirth process right now, and this karmic detox back in alignment with the truth of our authentic values and our authentic potential and our ability to, you know, gain this greater perspective, this expanded viewpoint, this higher understanding of those things, and really be able to embody, step in, and move forward in that direction in alignment with this healing, this growth, and this resonance to our higher potential, our activated destiny, and our self-mastery. So I feel like this is talking about, you know, as we're starting this week, as we're in this energy right now, like, we really need to understand that it's sort of like the end of an era, and, you know, we are letting go and moving on from, like, we've come to the end of where the things that we've been holding on to so tightly can take us. And again, like I said, like, our identity essentially, like, maybe of the past. And right now it is really the time to become the Emperor, to step into our power. And how do we do that? We do that by understanding, seeing, and embracing that authentic truth within us, those resources within us, healing ourselves, tapping into our potential, activating our destiny, and moving forward along that path unencumbered, unrestricted by anything from the past or any of these karmic loops or any of this subconscious programming as well. Like, this is the swords. This is talking about these negative ideas, these self-limiting ideas. It's again bringing up this Saturn Mercury energy, this self-sabotaging mental loops that we've been holding on to as well, that have been preventing us from becoming our own empire or emperor, from becoming the master of our own destiny, the captain of our own ship. And that is what we are supposed to be stepping into right now. So time to power up, you guys. Starting this week, God, universe is calling us to put on our emperor boots and tie them up tight and, you know, sit in our throne and hold our scepter and not allow what is falling away right now to shake our faith in the strength and the power that we hold within us. So that's what the tarot cards are saying for me today, you guys, in terms of the way I'm interpreting them in the context of the energy. So that's what we got for that. Now, let's draw one more little card. This is a synchronicity card. These are just little messages from God that are meant to give us some inspiration or some additional advice in terms of how we can best navigate the energy that is before us at this point in time. So these are wonderful cards. I love them so much. They are by Janice Shellman. Oop, there we have one that just went shooting out. So let's read it and see what it says. So interesting, you guys. Like, before I even read this card, I want to re-emphasize what I was saying with these tarot cards about how we have to let go of the thoughts that we've been holding on to that have been sabotaging to our progress, really. And again, this Mercury Saturn square, like that is also what this energy is about, is gaining a greater sense of mastery over our thoughts, mastery, the emperor over our own thoughts, so that we can do this CHIRON stuff and activate our destiny and quit sabotaging our own progress based out of like past traumas and subconscious programming, thought loops and stuff like that. And then the card that just went shooting out for us today, it says change your thoughts. So it's all like tying in together, the chart for today, the cards, and now the synchronicity card is essentially telling us the same thing. And it shall prosper in the thing for which I sent it. Isaiah 55:11. Whatever seed you plant will come back to you in its fruit. And this is also interesting as we're talking about Saturn, like the Lord of Agriculture, this Taurus stuff, this food. And here we are talking about planting seeds and fruit. Whatever seed you plant will come back to you in its fruit. If you plant a bitter seed, you will get a bitter fruit. Sweetness will beget sweetness. Likewise, flavor your thoughts and your speech with sweetness, that you may dwell in a sweet life. Holding to your present thoughts will bring you unhappiness. You guys, look at this guy. What's this guy doing? He is holding on to something. And what is this? This is thought air energy. This is the sword energy. This is about our mindset and our thoughts. Holding to your negative thoughts will bring you, essentially like destruction. But what we need to do is take back control over our own thoughts and realize, if you plant a bitter seed, you will get a bitter fruit. Sweetness begets sweetness. Flavor your thoughts and your speech with sweetness so that you may dwell in a sweet life. And this to me is also about, aligning with our truth and being able to be liberated to move forward in that direction towards the things that will bring us that sweet life. Our soul's true, we want to be able to attract and magnetize based on the vibration that we are holding within us, what will bring us our heart and soul's true fulfillment in this energy. Also this 222 year, which is doing the same thing, and this age of Aquarius, which is ultimately trying to do the same thing for us. So you guys, that's what I have to say today. Energy from the stars, energy from the cards. I hope you guys liked it. If you did like this video, please give me a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends if you think that they would like this too, you guys. Please leave me comments. I absolutely love your comments. I love you guys like so much. Thank you so much for being here. I have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, a website, and some other social media stuff. Those are in my description box below, and come back with me tomorrow, you guys. We will have more energy to talk about again for Tuesday. I'm telling you now, it's going to be another quite information-oriented day, but there will be some other stuff to talk about. I will be here. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it, and I will see you then, guys. Have a beautiful day. Bye.